Imagine this. You're pouring your absolute heart and soul into your local service business. You finish a grueling 10-hour day out in the sun, you do incredibly good work, and your current clients? They absolutely love you. But your schedule? Well, it's a total roller coaster, right? Let me hit you with a hard truth right out of the gate. If your business only gets customers when someone recommends you, you don't have a sales system. You just have luck. And hey, doing phenomenal work is the baseline, absolutely. But relying entirely on word of mouth, that literally means you're surrendering your business growth to pure chance. Okay, let's dive into this explainer. Welcome, everyone. Our goal today is massive. We're going to completely transform how you look at your local service business. We are going to build a predictable, repeatable customer acquisition system. The idea here is to get you away from crossing your fingers, just hoping the phone rings, and put you firmly in the driver's seat of your own growth. To get there, we've got a highly structured journey today. We're going to cover 6 key sections. First, we'll talk about stopping relying on luck. Second, thinking like a service CEO. Third, the actual customer acquisition system. Fourth, the mistakes costing you jobs. Fifth, the system in action. And finally, number 6, controlling your opportunities. All right, kicking things off with section 1, stop relying on luck. So many hardworking business owners out there are incredibly frustrated because despite all that sweat equity they put in, they completely lack a clear process. So are you experiencing any of these symptoms? Maybe your referrals are just totally random. You're stuck in this exhausting cycle of feast or famine. Or you're just throwing up unplanned social media posts, crossing your fingers, hoping something sticks. Or, and we've all been there, maybe your truck dashboard is just a graveyard of sticky notes with half-written phone numbers. You might find yourself slashing your prices just to compete with that guy down the street. Maybe you're replying late to inquiries, completely forgetting to follow up, or dealing with an endless stream of customers who ask for a price and then totally ghost you. Listen, if this sounds familiar, I really want you to hear this loud and clear. Your problem is not the quality of your craft. The problem is your lack of a system. So, how do we fix this? Let's move to section 2. Think like a service CEO. This right here is a crucial shift in how you view your everyday role. Making this shift requires a fundamental change in your identity. Thinking like a worker? Well, that means your primary focus is just doing the job well, mowing that lawn perfectly or cleaning that pool immaculately. And sure, that is absolutely essential, but it's not going to grow your business. Thinking like a service CEO, on the other hand, means you actually understand your real job is building a pipeline. It's about systematically turning interest into leads, turning those leads into scheduled jobs, turning those jobs into accurate invoices, and finally turning those invoices into cold, hard cash. Now that is the engine of a real business. So, how exactly do we build that engine? Let's jump into section 3, the customer acquisition system. This is our core solution. It's a repeatable, totally no-fluff framework that completely eliminates your reliance on luck. All right, here are the 5 essential steps of that system. Step 1, attract the right attention. Look, not everyone is your ideal customer, right? You need to clearly communicate what you do, who you serve, and exactly why you are trustworthy. Step 2, respond fast. In local services, speed is the ultimate advantage. Honestly, the brutal truth is that if a homeowner asks for a quote and you reply the next day, a competitor has probably already won that job 80% of the time. Step 3, track every opportunity. Step 4, follow up professionally. Because let's face it, most people just don't buy on the very first contact. Your follow-up needs to be organized, not annoying. And step 5, send a clear estimate to build that immediate trust. Let's zoom in on step 3 for a second, tracking every opportunity. So the crucial point here is that your leads literally cannot live in a messy string of text messages, or even worse, just floating around in your memory. To actually act like a CEO, every single lead needs to be tracked with exact details. We're talking name, phone number, requested service, date, address, estimated value, the next step, and the status. If you don't know the status of a lead and what your next step is, honestly, that lead is already as good as gone. Now, what exactly constitutes a professional estimate? Well, it's a comprehensive document that clearly explains the service, the exact price, the conditions, the estimated date, and the next step to build trust. I need to be super explicit here. Shooting off a quick text message that just says, $250 for the yard is absolutely not an estimate. It lacks context, it lacks professionalism, and it utterly fails to build the kind of trust necessary to close a deal at a premium price. Okay, now that we know the system, let's look at section 4, mistakes costing you jobs. What are the common pitfalls actually undermining this exact process and bleeding revenue from your company? There are some massive pitfalls that cause businesses to just hemorrhage revenue. I'm talking replying too late, not tracking your leads, totally forgetting your follow-ups, or texting those prices without any context. Other huge mistakes? Competing only by lowering your price, failing to separate serious buyers from mere price shoppers, and never actually measuring how many leads become paying jobs. When you make these mistakes, you are literally forcing yourself into a race to the bottom. If you don't look professional, the only thing the customer has left to compare you on is the price, and you want to compete on high value and reliability, for sure, not just on being the cheapest option on the block.
Let's take this all out of theory and move to Section 5, the system in action. What exactly does this look like when a real homeowner actually asks for a quote?
Imagine a super lucrative landscaping or pool lead comes in. Under a disorganized model, the owner replies hours late, completely forgets the specific details the homeowner mentioned, and, big surprise, ultimately loses the job. Now, picture that exact same request hitting a professional model. This owner replies instantly, tracks the details perfectly, and sends over a beautiful, highly professional estimate. The outcome? They follow up in a timely manner and systematically win that customer. It is the exact same lead, but the system itself determines the outcome. It's a real game changer. Of course, executing this professional model requires the right infrastructure. A tool like ServiTrack Pro acts as your central hub to organize leads, customers, jobs, visits, estimates, invoices, and payments, the whole shebang, in one single place. And look, it's not just about using some software. It's about giving yourself the indispensable dashboard you need to execute this 5-step system effortlessly, without ever dropping the ball. And that brings us to our final segment, Section 6, Control Your Opportunities. Let's wrap up everything we've uncovered in this explainer and see how you can take some immediate action. This brings us to an absolutely fundamental truth. Customers do not arrive by accident. They arrive when your business has a system to attract them, respond to them, follow up with them, and close professionally. I mean, think about that for a second. A system brings total predictability. It completely removes the anxiety of wondering where your next job is coming from because you have engineered a machine that consistently produces results. You can head over to ServiTrackPro.com to put this exact infrastructure into practice today. Thank you so much for joining me for this explainer. Now, I want to leave you with one final very important question as you look at your schedule for next week. Are you going to keep playing the lottery with your livelihood, or are you finally ready to stop relying on luck and step up to be the service CEO your business truly deserves?